Welcome back, everyone, to another deep dive brought to you by Life and Divinity.
Like always, we are excited to dive deep into another fascinating topic.
That's right. And today we are going on a journey into the world of Vipassana meditation.
Oh, yes. Vipassana is such a rich and ancient practice.
They're over 2,500 years old.
Going all the way back to the Buddha himself.
That's right. And it was actually rediscovered in the late 19th century by Ledi Sayadaw.
And then later popularized by goenka.
Exactly, goenka, and those 10-day retreats he's known for.
Yes, exactly.
So we're going to try and cover as much as we can in this deep dive.
Definitely.
And for our listeners, if you enjoy this episode, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Life and Divinity.
And let us know in the comments what you think of Vipassana meditation. If you have any experience with it, we'd love to hear from you.
So let's just jump right in.
Yeah.
Vipassana. So the word itself means insight in Pali.
Insight.
And I think that that's pretty fitting, given the state of the world today.
Yeah.
Everyone is so stressed out.
Yeah, it feels like everybody's running around with their hair on fire.
Yeah, the American Psychological Association, they said that 78% of Americans are experiencing stress symptoms.
Wow, that's a huge number.
That's a lot of people.
Yeah.
So it seems like now more than ever, we need these tools to, find inner peace and mental clarity.
Absolutely. Tools and techniques that we can use in our everyday lives to deal with all the chaos and stress.
And that's really what we want to focus on today in this deep dive, is how you can actually take Vipassana and use it in your daily life.
Yeah, and make it practical, something that you can do every day, not just something that you read about or hear about.
Exactly. So let's start with the basics. What is Vipassana at its core?
At its core, Vipassana is all about developing this awareness of your inner world.
Inner world.
Your thoughts, feelings, and the sensations in your body.
Okay.
And it's not about stopping those things. It's not about trying to get rid of them.
Right.
It's about observing them without judgment.
Okay.
Just noticing them as they are.
So not trying to achieve some kind of blank slate.
No, not at all.
Because that just sounds impossible.
It's not about emptying the mind. It's about understanding the mind.
Okay.
Yeah, and understanding that everything is impermanent.
Okay.
Your thoughts change,
Yeah.
your feelings change, the sensations in your body change.
Right.
And Vipassana helps you see that directly.
So how does this differ from other types of meditation?
Well, all meditation aims to cultivate some kind of awareness,
Right.
but they use different techniques.
Yeah, okay.
So, for example, Zen meditation often uses koans, which are these paradoxical riddles or stories that are meant to kind of break down your logical thinking.
Oh, okay.
Tibetan meditation often uses visualizations,
Okay.
where you're imagining different deities or mandalas.
Right.
But Vipassana is really focused on this direct sensory experience.
Sensory experience.
It's very grounded, it's very practical, and it's accessible to people of any background.
So it's not tied to a specific religion or belief system?
Not at all. Not at all. It's really just about observing your own experience.
And that's what makes it so relevant, I think, today.
Absolutely.
It's just something that anyone can do.
Yeah, anyone can benefit from.
So you mentioned the history of Vipassana a little bit. Can you expand on that?
Yeah, so as we said, it goes back to the Buddha over 2,500 years ago.
Okay.
But the specific techniques that are used today, they were really revived in the late 19th century in Burma, thanks to Ledi Sayadaw.
Okay.
And he really systematized the practice and made it more accessible.
Okay.
And then, of course, goenka came along,
Goenka.
and he popularized it globally through these 10-day silent retreats.
Yeah, which is what a lot of people think of when they hear Vipassana.
Exactly. They think, 10 days of silence, that sounds intense.
Yeah, a little daunting.
It can be, but it's also incredibly transformative.
Yeah.
But the essence of the practice is the same, whether you're doing a 10-day retreat or you're just practicing for 5 minutes at home.
Okay.
It's about observing sensations without reacting.
Without reacting.
So you're training your mind to be more aware, to be more present, and to not get so caught up in your thoughts and feelings.
So how do we actually take this practice and apply it to our everyday lives?
That's the key question.
Yeah, because it's easy to say, okay, I'm going to be mindful, but then you get stuck in traffic, or you have a fight with your partner, or, your boss is yelling at you, and all of a sudden mindfulness goes out the window.
Right. It's easy to be mindful when everything's going great.
Exactly.
But the real test is how do you apply it when things are difficult?
Yeah.
And that's where the practice comes in.
So give me an example.
Let's say you're stuck in traffic.
Okay, I'm stuck in traffic.
You're late for a meeting.
Yes, of course.
and you're starting to feel that frustration building up.
Yeah, road rage starting to bubble up.
Instead of letting that frustration take over, instead of honking your horn and yelling at the other drivers,
Right.
you can use Vipassana to observe those sensations.
Okay.
So notice the tightness in your chest, the tension in your shoulders, the clenching of your jaw. Just notice them without judgment.
Just observe.
Yeah, just observe. And as you do that, you'll start to create some space between you and those sensations.
So I'm not my anger.
Again, you're not your anger, you're not your frustration, you're the observer of those things.
Okay. And does that actually help?
It does, it really does, because when you create that space, you're less likely to react in a habitual way.
So I'm less likely to, flip someone off.
Yeah, you're less likely to road rage, you're less likely to say something you'll regret later.
Oh, okay. I can see how that would be beneficial.
And there's actually research to support this.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the Harvard Business Review, they published an article about mindfulness in the workplace.
Oh, okay.
And they found that people who practice mindfulness, they're more focused.
More focus.
They're more productive.
Interesting.
They're better able to handle stress
That makes sense.
because they're not getting so caught up in the reaction.
They're able to just observe and move on. So beyond just those high stress moments, are there other ways that we can integrate Vipassana into our daily lives?
Absolutely. You can bring mindfulness to any activity,
Any activity.
whether it's eating, walking, talking, showering.
Wow. Okay.
One simple practice is to just cultivate body awareness throughout the day.
Body awareness.
So every now and then, just check in with your body.
Okay.
Notice how you're feeling. Notice any sensations that are present.
Okay.
Are you holding tension anywhere?
Okay.
How does your breath feel?
Right.
Just notice these things without judgment.
Okay.
And this simple act of paying attention to your body can really help to ground you in the present moment.
Okay.
And it can also help to reduce stress.
Stress.
There was a study published in Psychological Science that found that people who are more aware of their body sensations, they tend to have lower levels of stress hormones.
Wow, that's interesting.
It's like by tuning into your body, you're actually calming your nervous system.
That makes sense. So it's not just about, sitting on a cushion and meditating. It's about bringing that awareness into everything you do.
Exactly. It's about living your life with more mindfulness.
I like that. And how about our interactions with other people?
Yeah, that's a huge part of it too.
Okay.
Because when you're more mindful of your own thoughts and feelings, you're also more able to be present and attentive to other people.
Right.
You're less likely to be distracted. You're less likely to interrupt.
Okay.
You're more likely to really listen to what they're saying.
Okay, that makes sense.
And there's research to show that mindfulness can actually increase compassion and empathy.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there was a study published in the journal Mindfulness,
Okay.
and they found that people who practice mindfulness, they're more likely to help others.
Interesting.
They're more likely to forgive others,
Okay.
and they're less likely to judge others.
That's amazing. So it's like a ripple effect.
It is. It's like mindfulness starts with you, but it extends outwards to everyone you interact with.
I like that a lot. So can you give us some concrete examples of how we can bring mindfulness into our everyday activities?
Sure. One of the simplest and most effective ways is mindful eating.
Mindful eating.
So instead of just gobbling down your food while you're watching TV or scrolling through your phone,
Which I'm definitely guilty of.
we've all been there.
Yeah.
Take some time to really savor your meal.
Okay.
Notice the colors, the textures, the smells.
Okay.
Chew your food slowly
Right.
and really taste each bite.
Okay.
Another great practice is mindful listening.
Mindful listening.
So when you're having a conversation with someone, really pay attention to what they're saying.
Okay.
Don't just wait for your turn to talk.
Right.
Really listen to their words.
Yeah.
Notice their body language and try to understand their perspective,
Right.
even if you don't agree with them.
Okay.
And you could even bring mindfulness to everyday chores.
Like doing the dishes.
Yeah, doing the dishes, folding laundry, taking out the trash.
Okay.
Instead of just rushing through it mindlessly. Pay attention to the sensations.
Okay.
Notice the feel of the water on your hands, the smell of the soap,
Yeah.
the movement of your body.
So it's not about changing what we do, it's about changing how we do it.
Exactly. It's about bringing awareness to every moment.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So for someone listening who's like, okay, I want to try this. What are some beginner-friendly techniques?
One of the most basic and fundamental techniques is mindful breathing.
Mindful breathing. Okay.
And all you need to do is find a comfortable seated position.
Okay.
You can sit on a chair, on a cushion, on the floor,
Okay.
whatever feels good for you.
Doesn't have to be fancy.
No, not at all.
Okay.
And then just close your eyes or soften your gaze
Okay.
and bring your attention to the sensation of your breath.
Just my breath.
Yeah, just your breath. Notice where you feel it most prominently.
Okay.
Maybe it's in your nostrils, maybe it's in your chest, maybe it's in your abdomen.
Just focus on that.
Yeah, just focus on that. And as you breathe in, just mentally note breathing in. And as you breathe out, mentally note breathing out.
Breathing in, breathing out.
Yeah, and if your mind wanders, that's totally normal.
Okay.
Just gently bring it back to the breath.
Okay.
And that's it. That's mindful breathing.
Simple as that.
Simple as that.
And how long should you do this for?
You can start with just 5 minutes a day
5 minutes.
and gradually increase it as you feel comfortable.
Okay. And what if I get distracted?
You will get distracted. That's part of the practice.
Okay.
The key is not to get discouraged.
Right.
Just notice that you've been distracted and gently bring your attention back to the breath.
Oh, okay.
It's like training a puppy.
Training a puppy.
You have to keep redirecting its attention,
Okay.
but eventually it'll learn to stay focused.
Right.
And your mind is the same way.
Okay.
With practice, it'll become more settled, more focused, more peaceful.
So patience is key.
Patience is key.
Okay. What are some other beginner-friendly techniques?
Another great one is body scan meditation.
Body scan? Oh.
So for this one, you can either lie down or sit comfortably.
Okay.
And you're going to systematically bring your attention to different parts of your body,
Okay.
starting with your toes and moving all the way up to the top of your head.
Okay.
And as you focus on each part of your body,
Yeah.
just notice any sensations that are present.
Any sensations?
Yeah. So you might feel warmth, tingling, pressure tightness,
Okay.
or you might not feel anything at all.
And that's okay.
That's totally okay.
Okay.
Just notice whatever's there without judgment.
Without judgment.
And you can spend a minute or two on each part of your body,
Okay.
or you can just move through it more quickly.
Okay.
Whatever feels right for you.
Okay.
And a simple body scan meditation takes about 10 to 20 minutes.
10 to 20 minutes. Okay.
But again, you can adjust the time to fit your schedule.
Okay. And what are the benefits of doing this?
Well, it's a great way to cultivate body awareness,
Body awareness.
which, as we talked about earlier, can help to reduce stress.
Right.
And it can also help you to become more present because you're really tuning into your body in this moment.
Okay.
And it can also help to improve your sleep
Improve your sleep.
because it helps to calm your nervous system.
Okay. I like that.
Yeah.
And you mentioned earlier walking meditation.
Yes. Walking meditation.
What is that?
So walking meditation is basically what it sounds like.
You're meditating while you're walking.
Exactly. You're bringing mindfulness to the act of walking.
Okay.
So find a place where you can walk back and forth for about 10 to 15 minutes.
Okay.
And as you walk, just pay attention to the sensations of your feet hitting the ground.
Okay.
Notice the lifting of your foot, the swinging of your leg, the placing of your foot.
Okay.
And try to keep your attention focused on those sensations.
Okay.
And if your mind wanders, just gently bring it back to the walking.
So it's similar to mindful breathing,
Very similar.
except you're using the sensations of walking as your anchor.
Exactly.
Okay. And what are the benefits of walking meditation?
Well, it's a great way to integrate mindfulness into your daily life.
Because we all walk.
Yeah, we all walk.
So it's something that you can do anytime, anywhere.
Exactly. You don't need a special cushion or a quiet room.
Right.
You can do it in your backyard. You can do it at the park. You can do it on your lunch break.
So it's very accessible.
Very accessible.
And it's also a good way to get some exercise.
Definitely.
So you're killing two birds with one stone.
Yeah, you're benefiting your body and your mind at the same time.
Okay. So we've talked about some of the techniques.
Yeah.
What about the benefits?
Yeah, what are the actual benefits of Vipassana meditation?
What does the research say?
Well, there's a growing body of research on the benefits of mindfulness meditation.
Okay.
And Vipassana is one of the most well-studied forms of mindfulness.
Okay.
And the research has shown that Vipassana can help to reduce stress and anxiety,
Reduce stress and anxiety.
improve focus and concentration,
Okay.
enhance emotional regulation,
Okay.
improve sleep quality,
Okay.
and boost compassion and empathy.
So it's good for our mental health, our physical health, and our relationships. Exactly. It's a holistic practice that can benefit all aspects of our lives.
That's amazing.
Yeah. And there are specific studies that have shown these benefits.
Oh, can you give us some examples?
Sure. So there was a study published in the Journal of Alternative and Complementary Medicine.
Okay.
And they found that people who completed a 10-day Vipassana retreat,
Okay.
they experienced a significant reduction in their perceived stress levels.
So it's not just a placebo effect?
No, it's a real measurable effect. And there was another study published in the journal Mindfulness.
Okay.
And they found that Vipassana meditation can improve attention and cognitive flexibility.
So it can help us to focus better?
Exactly. Yeah. And it can also help us to switch between tasks more easily.
Which is a very valuable skill in today's world.
Absolutely.
Okay, what about emotional regulation?
Yeah, so there was a study published in the journal Emotion.
Okay.
And they found that Vipassana meditation can help people to better manage their emotions.
So they're less likely to react impulsively? Exactly. They're more able to observe their emotions without getting swept away by them.
Okay.
And there was another study published in Sleep Medicine Reviews.
Sleep.
And they found that mindfulness meditation can improve sleep quality.
So it can help people to fall asleep faster, stay asleep longer, and wake up feeling more rested.
Exactly.
Wow, that's impressive.
Yeah. And then finally, there was a study published in the Journal of Social and Personal Relationships.
Relationships.
And they found that mindfulness meditation can increase compassion and empathy.
So it can help us to have better relationships.
Exactly. Because we're more able to understand and connect with other people.
That's great.
Yeah,
So it seems like Vipassana has a lot to offer,
it does. It's a really powerful practice.
but it can also be challenging,
Definitely.
especially at first.
Yeah, it takes time and effort to develop a consistent meditation practice.
So what are some tips for making this a sustainable practice?
One important tip is to create a dedicated space for your practice.
Dedicated space.
So this could be a corner of your bedroom, a spot in your living room,
Okay.
anywhere where you can sit comfortably and won't be disturbed.
Right.
And you can make this space special by adding a cushion, a blanket, a plant,
Okay.
anything that makes you feel calm and relaxed.
Right.
And it's also important to set realistic goals.
Realistic goals.
So don't try to meditate for an hour a day right off the bat.
Right.
Start with 5 minutes a day
5 minutes.
and gradually increase it as you feel comfortable.
Okay.
And it's more important to be consistent than to meditate for long periods of time.
Consistency over intensity.
Exactly. So even if you can only meditate for 5 minutes a day, do it every day.
Okay.
And another helpful tip is to connect with a community.
Community.
So this could be a local meditation group,
Okay.
an online forum,
Right.
or even just a friend who also meditates.
Okay.
Because having that support can really help you to stay motivated.
Right.
And there are also a lot of great resources available,
Resources.
like books, apps, and websites that can provide guidance and support.
And of course, Life and Divinity.
Of course,
We are a great resource.
we are.
We have lots of articles and videos on meditation and mindfulness.
And we're always adding more content.
So be sure to check us out.
Yes, definitely.
And don't forget to subscribe
Subscribe
so you don't miss any of our new content.
and leave a comment. Let us know what you think.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into Vipassana meditation, I want to leave you with one final thought.
Okay.
The journey to inner peace starts with a single breath.
One breath.
So take a moment right now to just breathe and be present.
And remember that you have the power to cultivate peace and clarity in your life.
And if you need help along the way, Life and Divinity is here for you.
We're here to guide you and support you on your journey.
So please subscribe to Life and Divinity and join us as we explore the many paths to a more fulfilling life.
We'll see you next time.
Thank you for listening.
Bye.